Ageless Energy Radio. How to feel 22 at any age. Would you like to feel young and vibrant regardless of your age? Never have to call in sick again. Be laser focused and productive all day long. Stop feeling stressed out by your life. Stay calm and confident no matter what. Go to bed feeling peaceful and wake up energized? Ageless Energy is healing your self-generating energy systems through the renewal of your body, mind, and spirit for complete wellness without artificial stimulants or medication. Would you listen? Anyone who wants to feel young, ageless, and productive, regardless of their years. Join your host, Dr. Chandler George, as we explore your mind, body, spirit to feel 22 at any age.
Hey, this is Dr. Chandler George here, and I'm with my good friend Kristin Walters, who is a real estate broker up in Summit County, but don't hold that against her just because she has a dream life. She's also a Texan, native of the Houston area. So, Kristin, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Kristin, we've got to know more about you first before we dig into your awesome life that you live and everything. You're from Texas. You went to UT. Give us a little bit of a sketch of a background, how you arrived living in Creek in a master area here in Frisco, Colorado.
When I was in middle school, we did a fundraiser. We sold Gold Sea coupon books to raise money to go skiing in Keystone, Copper Mountain, and Breckenridge. And ever since then, I've been hooked on skiing. So
That's
when
all
I
it
had
took.
the opportunity to come to the mountains full time, I took it.
And you were smart. And so now how long have you been full-time in the mountains?
Almost 4 years.
And what do you do in the mountains?
I'm a real estate agent, a realtor. So I'm the team leader of the Mountain Dream team. And we serve Breckenridge, Silverthorne, Keystone, Dillon, Copper Mountain, and Frisco.
So if anyone wants to find you for that dream life, they can just Google or toggle any of those terms and they'll find you, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Because I'm sure everyone's going to want to. So now, just today, even on a Friday, when I came and met you, I mean, is this your typical Friday, what you're experiencing today?
Not necessarily, no.
Though it should be.
It should be.
So just give me a sketch of what a typical perfect day like your Friday is today.
Getting up mornings with the puppy when she wakes me up at 5:30 and doing yoga, having a couple of hours of me time. And then I'm at the office by 8.
At the office by 8?
Yeah.
Which means what?
The desk in my house.
The desk in the cabin by the creek with the mountain in the background.
Yeah, so working on the business in the morning and then...
So in other words, it's not the desk and the office that all the rest of you go into. I just want to make that really clear.
It's a laptop and a telephone.
Because I'm sitting here in it live. Okay, so...
And then afternoon is a walk with the dog. And then usually I'll go out into the field.
But it's not just a walk.
No.
It's Rainbow Lake and it's some creeks and it's the mountains in and around the national forest.
So but most would call it a hike. It's a hike. So today we did 2.5 miles, and that's a normal day. We had an elevation gain of maybe 400 or 500 feet.
Yeah.
Got to see the flowers.
Most of us call that a vacation.
Yeah.
Not a life.
It's important to have little moments during the day.
Now, is that really why you moved up here?
It is.
Okay. So you're actually doing what you believed in your heart that you would want to do.
I love to be outside. I have to be outside. I can't be in front of a desk.
Now, this being Ageless Energy, how to feel 22 at any age, mind, body, spirit, or work-life balance. What do you find that being in Colorado and leading this sort of life does most for you? Is it under the mental, physical, or the spiritual aspects?
All of it.
All of it.
Absolutely.
Can you explain?
Well, I think taking a 2-mile hike in the woods clears my mind, and then I'm able to connect spiritually, and then obviously it's good for the physical too.
Okay, well, I know I'm hiking. That really connects physically because, I mean, I'll see a butterfly on a mushroom, you know, and I'll marvel at that. Or the other day it rained, and so I was marveling at the water droplets on the aspen. And I was taking pictures with my iPhone Plus of it, which my mom just loved. I really did. It was amazing. Even though I had the mountain behind, I was zeroing in because the magnificence of what's around you many times is on a microcosm scale. It's like Ant-Man the movie as opposed to just the big wide mountains, right? Mm-hmm. So it's taking in all that little stuff. Mm-hmm. And I believe I even got to experience a bee sting this morning, which I hadn't had in a long time. So I experienced a multifaceted aspect of the woods. And I think that's part of the mind-body experience, right? Where it all connects. Is that what you're saying? Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think that you bring to the world and to your clients that others can't or won't?
I think when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I'm thinking about other than taking care of my body is how can I give of all the gifts and the talents that I've been given. And if I'm waking up every morning and thinking about my buyers, my sellers, the people that I keep employed, all the people around me in the community that rely on me, and how can I go forth and give good service and give of my intelligence, then I think that's where I'm coming from as a real estate agent. And I think there aren't a lot of, number one, full-time agents here. And then number two, I don't think there are a lot of people that are looking at it from that perspective.
Well, all right, since you are looking at the client's perspective, let's go a little deeper, because I know you're analytical. I know you went to UT. I know you're smart and you can do all this stuff in your sleep. And so I assume that you're good at those things. So with that being off the table, so we don't get to use that as one of your attributes, because I expect you to be the best of that. But then on what subconscious and deeper level do you go with your clients, or think about them or work with them, that you can help others go deeper with?
I mean, I think it's a quality of life that people are looking for in the mountains. It's a second home community. It's a resort community. It's not like when I was working in Denver where, people have to buy a house because they got transferred for a job and their kids need to be in a certain school. I think people here are looking for that relaxation time and looking to recharge, and that's priceless. And so if they can find a place where the family can gather and relax and recharge, and then they can go back to their regular lives and be pillars of their community, I think I'm coming from that perspective and knowing how sacred their family time is.
So, see, you're perfect for the podcast. It's how to heal your self-generating energy systems for the real body, mind, and spirit by being up in Summit County, Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Now, but you know how most people are, especially if they're coming from the front range and they have their kids and they're working their jobs and all that sort of stuff. Then when they come up here, how do you take them further? I mean, how do you take them where they can get into that mind, body, spirit, where they can get into that ageless energy state so they can feel younger? Because just buying the home, which is a legal and an expensive and a scary thing, how do you bridge that gap to keep it on the emotional part and meet the needs of those people where it's not about the money, it's about the emotional needs?
It's about the lifestyle.
What are some of your...
So, I mean, I'm accustomed to getting a text at 6 a.m. saying, hey, where's the best place to hike today? Or where are the fish hitting? Or what's the best ski run to go to? Or, people are looking to have a more relaxing experience, and they want the locals' perspective, I think.
So basically then, you're a professional guide, or... There's
a large element of tourism in my profession.
And so leading them from a tourist mindset a little bit. Into now making that tourist vacation week-long experience now a more 3-month, 6-month, however long they want, because they own the property, right? So then I assume you must have some way of minimizing the second home ownership kind of situation that happens, where it's more paperwork, it's more bills, there's more stuff. There's a downside to it too. So how do you minimize that and keep them focused on the real goal?
We have a huge team that has a streamlined process from the beginning to the end. So if you're looking for a place, I think, that you wanted to come in the summer, but you wanted to rent it out in the winter, and we don't have actual rental numbers, we can get projections on that, and then we can get you set up with the right accountant or the right attorney or the right property manager. We have the whole team in place to keep it simple.
So basically, you're leading people through the financial aspect and those things so that when they're up here, they can actually just enjoy what they're doing and everything. So how many people then move into areas like this where it's not, I hate to say it's always about the money, kind of, but if it's not really about the money because the lifestyle is so incredible that they're okay paying a premium, not only up front, but maybe monthly because of the cost being in any resort town across the United States just being higher, right? So how does one get around that? Well, you're selling what? The dream?
I don't have to sell anything.
Oh, very good. Well, what are you doing?
People come here for the lifestyle, and they see that they can come back year over year to some place that they love. And rather than paying $10,000 for a week at a hotel or a VRBO, that they can get into something nice and have it pay for itself for the most part, if not make money. And so I think when people are discovering those things, once they start getting the understanding that that's available, then that's when they call me. And it's not really anything to sell. I think that's what I love about it. It's just more fun. And
well, you're really just helping them meet their needs, what they want. Like you have your dog. And so people who have dogs have a certain need when they come in.
Right.
And you find out, I would assume intuitively real quick, what's their hot button. So that's what I mean. You got to know whatever it is, their why.
Right. I think it's that mind, body, spirit connection. I'm very intuitive. And because I think I have the background of being an elementary school teacher, from that, I've taken those skills into this role. So the minute that I meet someone, I'm immediately trying to assess their needs and what they like and what they don't like, and I'm listening. And then in the back of my mind, there are really properties scrolling through my head that are getting kicked out one by one, or there's one that comes into focus.
So you pull up like 10 screens in your brain doing different things.
Yeah. So if I'm sitting here talking with you and you tell me dogs, well, then all of a sudden 50 properties fall off the list for you because there are places that don't allow dogs. And so I feel like I'm a little bit of a matchmaker.
Ah, I like that term. Well, let's go deeper than that. Tell us about some of your best cases where you matched them up well and they got the best how to feel 22 at any age, mind-body experience. Give me some case examples of where your matchmaking worked out really well.
Well, I think I have a couple that came to me from Denver, and they have dogs, and they knew that they wanted to be able to hike and bike out the back door, and they wanted somewhere closer to Denver rather than farther. So I took them to Keystone, to what we would call maybe an older part in West Keystone. We found a lovely townhome where they can walk out their back door and hike and bike and fish, and it was everything that they wanted.
And how are they today?
They're wonderful. They're rehabbing the place, and they're going to move up here full time.
Oh, so you bring up another thing. I love going down bunny trails. So with the change in population and the ability of more and more people to work remote, they're not stuck in Denver or Dallas, Texas, or Houston or Chicago. So how does that change the dynamic of helping people find their dream?
It's been really interesting because when you live the laptop lifestyle, you're constantly seeking a place that you love. And so I've seen a lot more people coming who are working remotely and that it's accepted by their employers. And we even have a couple of work share spaces in the county, which have helped a lot. So when we're in a condo or a house and they say, oh, there's no room for my desk. Well, guess what? There are 2 work share spaces in Frisco. There's one in Breck.
I know just the other day, in fact, we used to bring our printers up here. And we didn't bring it this year. And I thought my wife was not going to be really happy about that. But we brought a trailer, but the bikes were more important, right? First priority. So as you can imagine, the company that she contracts for wanted to have something printed and scanned. But hey, for $6.91, we just went to the local UPS in there, played with the 2 pups and got it done there, and we're done. And I said, wasn't that a whole lot better than paying $3 plus lugging that 100-pound thing everywhere like we did for 7 years, And the answer is yes. And so, yeah, I can see that. So it's built for people who are working remotely and want to have that dream life, isn't it? This whole area.
It is.
Now, I would think that would raise real estate prices because those folks tend to be more affluent. There's more of them. They tend to be younger and they can go anywhere.
Right. And there's a huge population explosion in Denver.
For the good economy and the cannabis and just everything, right? Close to the mountains, just
We're
everything.
We're only about an hour and a half away.
Denver Broncos won the world championship, 18 months ago. I'm the football fan, John Elway and all that stuff. So it's all puts them on the map, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So they can make money here, which is cool. But, I think people make plenty of money, which is just another form of energy. Mm-hmm. But what are they doing with the energy is really what we want to explore. Are they doing everything they can? Because if we were to look at the data points, myself being a doctor, how many then are getting heart attacks, cardiovascular disease, Lyme disease, strokes, various sorts of problems? And are they getting that higher in the northwestern Colorado area than maybe other states? Do you even know?
No, I actually know that Summit County we recently were rated as having the longest lifespan. So people live longer here in this county. It's one of the top ones in the whole United States.
There you go, because they tend to work out more and be more active and they're here for the lifestyle, no matter what, even if they're working.
Right.
All right, I'm sold there. Sign me up. Okay, so then it's not about the money then. They're automatically signed for it. Well, then does that mean Buena Vista and those other places should have a high life expectancy? Why wouldn't they?
I don't know why Buena Vista wouldn't have a higher life expectancy. They don't have as good of skiing as we do.
So maybe not enough recreational activities built for
in the
health
winter
and fitness year round. Mm-hmm. Right. Does it have something maybe to do with social economics? Because it seems that Breckenridge is very affluent in Summit County.
I think it also has to do with that we have great medical care. We have a wonderful medical facility here in Frisco. And I don't believe that they have a good hospital in Buena Vista.
Okay, that could make a difference.
Mm-hmm. The next largest hospital, if you go west, I want to say is probably Vail Valley. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I think it's Grand Junction.
Now, let's explore a little bit. You've had some health challenges in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And how has living in Summit County helped you work with those health challenges?
Sure. In 2009, I was bitten by a tick when I was fishing down in Houston, and I didn't know it, that I had Lyme. I had the bullseye rash, so I went a whole year undiagnosed. And then the following 2 years, I was on and off antibiotics and seeing all kinds of specialists and trying to figure out, how to make it better. And my body hasn't been the same since, but I've also learned how to take better care of myself since then too.
Well, give us some examples of what you would do.
Waking up every morning and doing yoga, eating right, eliminating toxic foods.
Like what?
Gluten has been a big one. I got tested for that. Dairy has been a big one.
Tell me how you got tested.
It was a swab for the celiac test and for the gluten.
Yeah, you did many tests, I believe.
I have.
More alternative.
A lot of alternative, because the 2 years of the antibiotics, I was seeing a great doctor. He's a wonderful doctor for Lyme specifically. He was treating me with Eastern herbs and Western medicine. And because of him, it opened my mind up to the alternative piece. And it's so now I'm had a little bit of a relapse in this last April. I have been very mindful about seeing a chiropractic doctor, acupuncturist, lymph massage therapist. I'm seeing a hypnotist now to help me sleep, and a naturopath to make sure that we're getting everything back in working order.
And the naturopath is doing more what? The herbs, or what is the naturopath focused on?
She's focused on the herbs.
The herb part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, of course, along with all that, you have a portable infrared sauna.
I do. And I have the master key.
And you have the master key, right?
Mm-hmm.
Working on the brain aspect of it.
And I meditate a lot. I also meditate when I'm in the forest, so that I do like a walking meditation, and that helps.
Get back to nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I think you and I were talking about. Some of the different news outlets putting out articles to do with, what'd you call it?
It's called forest bathing.
Forest bathing.
Yes.
There's a reason to go out and get muddy in the woods and come back dirty. It's okay. It's good for you. We now know.
Yeah, I guess there have been medical studies to say that, just an hour in the forest decreases your blood pressure, helps with cholesterol, and they have actual medical studies to prove all of that. It's something that we all know at a basic level. When you're in nature, you feel better, but now I believe it's Japanese doctors.
So you mean it's not just me being crazy thinking it's too hot in Texas in the summer and there's nothing to see in the plains of northern Texas, and I really do feel better in the mountains. Now you're telling me from a doctor scientific perspective, we can prove this.
How is that any different than going out on a boat in the Gulf and going fishing all day and being in the sunshine or swimming in the ocean? I think it's all the same.
That totally works. Well, as you know, we're trying to build that. We're literally, if this thing happens, we will have a 2,000 square foot home on the beach coming up here real soon. And then that would be winter. And then summers would be up here in Summit County, borrowing your far infrared sauna and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. There are a ton of people who find their relaxation when it's snowy outside too. I mean, I think that's what...
Well, snow ice cream, of course. I mean, if you can't make snow ice cream, and the snow, it makes it quiet outside. It dampens sound. And
it does.
It gets not definitely in a bad way, definitely in a good way, but quiet, where you actually have to hear yourself think, and you have to be thinking. Mm-hmm. That's where I wish we could unplug all the TVs in the world while there's a lot of snow. Now, let's see who can actually think and not be scared of what they're thinking.
Exactly.
Right? Work on the thoughts.
And that's been another piece for my mental clarity, is to turn off the television, turn off the phones.
Does it help quiet your mind?
Absolutely. So that I won the rifle competition last year, and one of the things that I discovered that I have such a clarity of focus when I'm shooting is because I know that I don't have to answer the phone. There's no radio, there's no television, there's no Twitter, there's none of that. So I have to be completely focused and clear. And so why wouldn't I carry that over into another part of my life?
Absolutely. Yeah, because you learned the skill there and you can carry it to the other part of your life. So that means you're breathing. You know how to do really good breathing. Because I know we heard Chris Kyle live when he was still alive, being from Texas, at our local church. And, and the breathing seemed to be one of the huge things. Calming the mind, the focus, as you said, getting rid of anxieties, a lot of fears, oxygen to the body, of course. Drinking the water is more oxygen to your body. Whatever will bring more oxygen to the body and calm it. We recently were in Vegas. We sat on a chair that came in from France, and it was an oxygen breathing chair, but they were selling it as a breathing chair. And the point of it is to put you into zero gravity with these things pressing on certain parts of your diaphragm and your back to force you to breathe. And then it was teaching you, while your eyes were covered and you had headphones on, how to breathe in 5-second intervals so that you're using the full 5 liters or whatever of your lungs as opposed to 1 in shallow breath. And it has many other top programs. But it was doing it in a zero gravity. And so to remind you, it might be constantly pressing on your diaphragm and then relaxing. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to breathe then. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to relax it, and then, okay. And after a while, you kind of just got it. So maybe that's another way you could train a shooter. I don't know, or a sharpshooter or someone to breathe. I know it helps me scuba dive. Are you a scuba diver?
Yes.
Have you been? Yes?
Dive master.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm the dive guppy. For every dive master, there's a dive guppy. So when I trained at scuba diving, I had the good fortune of, and it was in a great place in Cozumel. The lady next to me was of Chinese descent and weighed about 92 pounds, dripping wet with weights on her, full-grown woman. And so the dive master is saying, now listen, breathe big, deep breaths, and you got 45 minutes of what, we're going to go 32 feet deep and see this airplane and all this stuff. Well, of course, we do that. But of course, my weights fall down around my knees for some reason. Don't ask me why. And instead of gliding like, horizontally, I'm like this with my butt up in the air. And so my nickname is called Kelp Boy. But when you're Kelp Boy and you see a shark down there by the airplane, your big breaths breathe up all the oxygen in 10 minutes. So how do you retrain breathing in a situation like that? Or, where do you start? You're a dive master now. I didn't even know this. Now we're going to put her to work. Just don't dive. Don't take him. He's a flunky.
Now I know I'm not going with you.
He's a guppy. Don't dive with Chandler. Now my wife, she's a great diver, skydiver. She does it all. She's calm and cool. And me, I'm down there. Whoo, shark. All right. I think it's really the weights around you. They should fit right.
Well, and I think too, you exercise on a daily basis. If you weren't exercising every day, you would suck in more air when you're scuba diving.
Oh. So you need less air if you're exercising. So I must not have been exercising much.
No, I just think you're healthier, so you're having a healthier balance of your breaths.
Or maybe it was from that chair and I was breathing in all 5 layers of oxygen and that little Chinese lady didn't. And so, she was breathing half a liter and, she lasted 3 more hours.
Smaller people last longer underwater.
He should have told us that. You should have been my dive master. We would have had a whole lot more fun and been a whole lot better.
Create a whole tour company on that.
We absolutely could create a whole tour company. When we're not in the mountains skiing and we want to plump up our skin and get rid of the wrinkles, we go back to the coast, back to Mexico, and we go diving and trace the animals and fish. I can tell you for myself, when we went to Bora Bora, one of the neatest things was eating fish all day. And when you weren't eating them, you were looking at them. So you're swimming around looking at the beautiful, colorful fish, and then you had sashimi at lunch. I thought I had died and went to heaven, fish heaven in this case. But, there is a thing they say with the beaches that the doctors had come up with. They actually do it out of Greece called Pepini machine. And now a lot of times you'll hear PMF, a pulsed electromagnetic frequency or therapy. That comes from walking on the ocean, because walking on the ocean has a certain deep core frequency of Mother Earth that the rest of the world and even the mountains don't have. Assuming you're walking on the beach barefooted, right? And it's like having 45 minutes of a PMF or a Pepini machine, if it's the Greek version, treating your body. So here in the mountains, are you aware of any certain frequencies or tests or proven, like in Sedona with the vortex? We do know, no matter what someone thinks, that there's certain frequencies that are different there that help people respond better.
I don't know of any proven other than the forest bathing that I've heard about recently.
But we all feel better when we're playing like little kids in the forest. Who doesn't want to feel like really running in the forest this morning? Your dog and all that. So what are some other ways, as we wind this up, that you can think that people should be able to find their ageless energy wherever they are in their life and in the world?
Finding their own quiet time.
And how should they go about that?
Find a place to be alone for 10 or 20 or 30 minutes.
So what would you say to tell the kids or the spouse?
I have no idea. I'm going on a walk, I guess.
Going on a walk away from them?
I just think it's so important to be able to turn everything off for a little bit. How many people did we see on the trail today? Not very many. There are many days I'll do all 2 miles and not see a single person. It allows you to just be with yourself and clear your mind and,
So a walk is what you would suggest.
Take a walk, take a swim, go to the gym.
There's some sort of quiet time when they can get away.
Go sit in the car.
So it's the quiet time and whatever gives me energy. I'm having fun doing this interview. It gives me energy.
There are some people that love being around people all the time. That gives them energy.
Right.
But I think for me, that's been really key. Is I love being social. I love being outgoing and all of that. But there are times that I need to see the snowfall and curl up with a good book and not speak or watch TV or be on my phone for hours on end.
But that's where we can take a cue from the puppies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the puppies will run and gun and chase and get very, very social, sniff things they shouldn't sniff, and be extremely social, overly crossing some personal space there. Social, right? Of course they would. They all do that. Not just your dog, but mine do too. But then at the drop of a hat, they'll go sack out back at the house and roll up and curl up. It doesn't matter. They're going to get their quiet time, aren't they? No matter what. I mean, they have a sit rhythm, and a human, usually, if they allow them to be themselves, isn't going to mess it up. But yet us humans have manufactured artificial this and that to totally mess up our natural biorhythms and our natural frequencies that we were built with, haven't we? Mm-hmm. So it's refinding ourselves. It's already there, but most people so don't know how to do it. Hence why we have the Ageless Energy courses, programs, and trainings. And we do all these different things. We have an event in late October. You can email us at support@catchfirecoaching.com, an Ageless Energy conference. And we know this is becoming real popular because many of y'all have probably heard of Gwyneth Paltrow. She has sold out events now in New York and LA of doing exactly what we're talking about. And that's not her background, but she got all the doctors and people like myself into these situations to do this for these ladies, primarily women, but men and women. And I think more and more that's what people are looking for. If you look at Lisa Nichols, if you look at Why the Secret was such a success, and you look at the spinoffs of John Assaraf, who I know personally, all those different folks, what they were doing, he does it with the brain and the mind. Mr. Fire, Joe Vitale, they're all working on how people are finding their inner peace in a multitude of different ways. Now, I'm going to say this, everyone has a multitude of different ways and call it whatever they want. For me, it's focusing on God and Jesus, as my savior and focusing as a Christian. But that alone doesn't give me a peace of mind. It gives me like, okay, I know what's going to happen to me when I die, and I have a set of rules to live by and all this, and a set of belief, but still I can be anxious and I can still let the world control me and destroy me and everything else. And certainly I'm human. I'm going to still do massive mistakes. So with all that said, you still need all these other things we're talking about here incorporated into your life, including friends that match up like this to help support that so that you're living that sort of lifestyle so that you can be totally balanced that lifestyle no matter what your business, no matter what your race, no matter what your religion or your belief or your politics, right? Mm-hmm. Because at the center, we're all still the same. I mean, Ruby wasn't discerning which puppy or dog she was talking to today or meeting, was she? No. And they were all happy to meet each other. I didn't see a tail not wag. That's what we need to do as humans, right? Is working through that. I also saw something else. I guess I was watching an Amazon movie, and it was the fact that in politics, everything becomes about the bureaucracy and the rules and the follow through. And there's no sense given to common sense and how people really feel in the gray areas of making the right decision. It's not necessarily by the rules. It's by the gray material that we were born within, that was given to us. Well, the dogs innately know that, and we need to follow our innate intelligence. Being as a chiropractor, you can assume that would come out from me because, if we treat the body right, take the pressure off the nerves, sit the frequency of the brain right, then your body is just going to be like spring every single day, and you're going to feel like 22 all the time because you're going to feel like spring. It's going to be like the fireweed outside, the fireweed jelly. It's going to be this 24/7, and it can't not be if you're in fertile soil because we're made for that. We're built for that. We're designed for greatness. We're built for massive potential and incredible opportunities. But we so let the world tell us it's got to be less than that. It's like living in a place that has a lead shield around it. And you think it's protecting you from what's out there. But what it really is doing is keeping your inner radiance from coming out. And no one knows how to tap into it. So the goal of this podcast and what we're talking about, Kristin, I kind of took over, is to help people find that inner radiance, whether it's going to the mountains or finding the right mountain home, but doing it in such a way where it's feng shui or has the right frequencies and energies to help whoever they are come out and be the best they can. For my mother-in-law, it's Colin Hilga back at the farm or whatever. Whatever it is, they have to let that come out. And I think that's why they seek this in the first place. It's very much a primitive, natural core thing that we're all built with as humans. And if we can eliminate the financial barrier, there's still half the world who would never come here, Kristin, and invest with you or seek you to build their dream because they don't get it, whether they have the money or not. They're not ready. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I think we have an obligation to educate them and teach them and show them there are better ways and then lead them to the path if they want to go. And if not, at least they know where the water is. What do you think?
No, I think in terms of finding your own energy as women, many times we find ourselves in the caregiving role and we're having to take care of everyone. It's just inside of us that we want to help everyone around us and we ignore ourselves. And then when we decide to not ignore ourselves, all of a sudden we're seeking permission from other people. some of us, not all of us, but I think it's important if you feel like you need to have quiet time or go read a book or go hike or swim, that you don't need to ask permission for that.
That's right.
Because you're taking care of yourself first. You're putting the oxygen mask on yourself first. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people.
I fully agree with that. So, Kristin, are we going to see you at the next Ageless Energy Conference?
Yes.
Good. So everybody, you can come meet Kristin at the next Ageless Energy Conference in late October. And when you come, if you think you actually want to be in the mountains, which I do, so don't leave without me, then you want to talk to her and she can hook you up with any aspect you can possibly imagine. But more than just hooking you up with a place to sleep, it's about hooking you up with all these other aspects we've been talking about today that I think makes her different, because it's about bringing that out in your dream life or how to feel 22. And you can't do it by just dealing in real estate. You know what I mean? It's about the inner self and pulling this stuff out. So feel free to comment at Support and Catch for our coaching. Leave comments at iTunes and iHeartRadio. Kristin, how can one get a hold of you if we want to talk more about your farm for Red sauna, your cabin, or even finding a place to live?
MountainDreamTeam.com.
No phone number for you?
My phone number is 970-368-2124. 970-368-2124.
But be sure and bring a lot of positive energy when you call. No negativity allowed, right? There's energy suckers and energy givers, and so you got to be warm fuzzies, and we don't want any cold pricklies, right?
Right.
Okay, I just want to be sure we understand who can call. She doesn't take all the calls. And in some cases, I even think she has an application process. And then I think you're working on having a van of some sort to even take people around on tours and things too,
I
right?
do. We have a discovery tour that's going to be launching in the winter. It's 5 hours of all the resort towns in the county. And it's a luxury bus with lunch provided where you can discover...
Hot chocolate?
Yeah. Hot chocolate, coffee, tea. You can discover the local real estate.
There you go. Or really discover your local dream and have it come true. Thanks, everyone. This has been Ageless Energy, How to Feel 22 with Dr. George and Kristin Walter. And we will see you on the next episode and hopefully in October.